Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, and today we are working from this book, the Barnstar Sampler Sew Along, and we're going to be working on block number 5, which is the Northern Star block. And if you know by now, we are making 2 each, and the first 3 blocks we completed the biggest block within this quilt. So from here on out, it's smaller and then it gets smaller. So this block looks like this, right? The reason why all this is here is because I covered the cutting, but this is what it looks like this week. Okay. And I've prepared my, let me put this here where I can see the pattern. I've prepared my fabric that I'm going to use. These are my inspiration for my color this week. So majority of this are Tula. This is Tula. This is a Moda. This is what I had before, and this is also Tula. This is just a Moda 9900-98, something like that. It is the Moda white. Oh, that's what I'm going with this week. And so this is it right here. This is the block that we're going to be making. This is what it looks like right now. And so we're going to sew this. I have fuzzy cut wherever I could. I told you guys at the beginning that I'm going to make it as much fun as possible. So we'll have a little pop of fuzzy cutting here and there, so that way I can make it a little bit more fun and interesting. And so that's what I'm going to do. Let me stop talking and start sewing so I can show you how I constructed this block. These are my cutting for the blocks that I've already done. I've layered them here so that way they'll make sense to my brain. And let's get sewing. We're going to take our square piece, we're going to sew it to our rectangle piece. So the instruction in the book has it well documented and colored. So what we're doing now is sewing this to this. And the pressing direction has you press to the square. So I'm going to finger press first. Like I said, I'm pressing my seam per the book instruction. My first 2 block I pressed open, and so with this I'm going to moving forward after that I am pressing my seam according to the book instruction, and so far it's worked out. And if you want to press open, you're more than welcome, but this book does not give instruction on pressing open. Since it didn't give instruction on pressing open, I'm going to press per the book instruction. I just wanted to let you know that, so that way if you are not a press opener type of quilter, and this book gives you an option to not have to do that. Okay, we're still working on the same rectangle piece. We're going to take 4 more and put it like this, and then we're going to sew the mini square to this, which we're going to need 4 to sew to this. We're still working on step number 1. Okay, and then this one has you press to the square. Okay, So that's what I'm going to do. Being pressing to the side and sewing them, I've not had any issue with bulk. So in case you're questioning, well, would this block be bulky? Mine has not been bulky at all. So if that is the question that you have, the answer is no bulk. And this one, I pressed open with my finger, so I don't need to press it with an iron. So when I'm done with step one, then I will press the entire thing together. So now that it looks like this is still step one we're working with, okay? And I'm going to make sure that my corners match. So now that all four pieces are sewn together, I'm just gonna give it a little bit of an iron and press them so that way they lay a little bit flatter. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so this is step number one. Step number one is completed. Now we're going to do step number two. We're going to sew a square piece onto the corner and snowball, and then another piece right here. Okay, which is right over here. So we're sewing this piece right here, which is your piece D in your book. Refer to your measurement. So we're sewing this piece like that. Okay. I'm going to sew the same square right here. I'm going to sew to the bottom left right here and then snowball, okay? So now what we're doing is they're gonna look like this, okay? So by the time you sew your corners on, they're going to look like this, kind of like a little tulip. So that's what they're gonna look like, okay? I'm gonna cut this piece off right here, and then I will press it, and then I will bring it back to show you what they all look like, okay? Okay, so they're all the corners are sewn on. The next step now is step number three. So step number one and two are done. So I'm just going to put it to the side right there. So now we're going to make the sides, which said to take our square piece, right? We're taking our square piece and we are going to, now this one gets a little tricky, right? We're going to sew the same color on the top corner, and we're going to sew these different colors on the bottom corners, okay? So this gets really tricky, so don't try to sew um, one to this corner and then, you know, flip your color. So the same color has to go here and the same color has to go here. So what I'm going to do to help to not confuse myself is to put this color up here and then this color down here. So that way I know that I am not going to mess up my color. So I'm going to sew this top on first and then I'll come back and sew this bottom part on, okay? So now this top pieces are sewn on. So we're going to sew this bottom piece on, okay? what I'm gonna do is just flip it, and then it's kind of like a square in a square, y'all. And then I'm gonna sew this to this. I'll put this over here so you don't get confused. This one is a lot more easier than the one that we've been sewing previously because it's a smaller block and the pieces are not as tedious. So I can kind of go through this a lot faster than the other 4 blocks, I guess. And you know, like this right here are the same color. These are going to be the same color of your chosen, right? This is the color that I have chosen. Now, making the side unit, step 1 is completed. So I'm going to put it aside as well. Okay, now we're within making the side unit, step 2, we're going to make flying geese again. I think I've made enough flying geese within this past few months. I think I'm gonna have a flying geese quilt pretty soon because it's a lot, y'all. So we're gonna make another flying geese, 4 more, right? So we're gonna make this flying geese. It's a easy peasy lemon squeezy situation, okay? So here we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's what my kids would say in their class. So all my flying geese are sewn together, and this is what they look like right now. And that is step 2 within making the side. So now we're going to move on to the next step. Okay. And the next step is step number 3 within that step. So we're going to take our square in a square that we previously made, and we are going to put the colors together just like this. And it looks like a bow tie right now, just like that. My color's a little dark for the screen, for the camera. So that's what we're gonna look like. So we're going to sew this part just like this, right? Like that. And make sure whatever color you've picked to go for this color, you're not sewing it like this. So if this color looks different from this, then you're sewing it the wrong way. If that's the color you chose, then it doesn't matter. But make sure that your colors match, and make sure it's not like that either. So make sure it's like this, okay? So let's sew. I'm gonna sew all 4 together, and then we are done with this step number 1 within the making the side situation. Okay, which way are we pressing? We are pressing up this way. And I think this has to press up. I'm gonna actually press this open because I find it to be a little bulky. So I am pressing open on this one. When I press, I use, if it's a little too bulky and in the middle part here, when I do go press the block at the end, I have a misting spray with 25% Terrio Magic and water. So I will spray it on the seam a little bit to kind of relax it. And then I also have that new spray. Let me get it so I can show you what it looks like. So I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Hold on just a minute, let me get it. So this is what I was talking about. This right here, this spray works wonders. It flattens and kind of gives it that extra crisp when you are done. So I will use, if I don't have enough Terrio Magic on hand, then I'll use that. So I go back and forth with what I spray after my block is done, and it helps keep it a little flatter. So I'm going to give it a little press with the iron so that way it does look a little flatter, like this. So actually, you know what? I have this thing right here, this little wool mat. I think I got it from Fat Quarter Shop in one of my boxes a while back. And I'm going to press it some just so you can see. It gets a little flatter. Okay. All right. So that's that. Not so bad, right? So I'm just gonna press it from here, like so, and give it a little press. Sit for a few seconds, leave it alone. Okay. And then come to the front, press, done. Now I don't recommend ironing on top of this gliding mat because it's plastic, so it will melt. But this is so thick, it doesn't even feel warm on the other side, and it's a few seconds. So that's why I just wanted to do it for the purpose of the video, so I can show you what it looks like that. Okay, so I don't recommend ironing on top of this thing if you have one. And so now this part is done, this part is done. Okay, and now we have to assemble our pieces. Now before I go on, it wants us to put the same color in the middle, the same color, but I'm not using that. I have a piece that I have already fuzzy cut that I'm going to use. It's going to be this piece right here. If you put this in the middle, this is what it look like if you put the same color, but I thought that was boring, so I wanted to put my own piece. Oh, it's upside down. Now let's put it right side up. So I put that piece there to make it look a little bit more interesting, right? So I like to fuzzy cut wherever I could. So with this being here, I think it gives it a little bit of a interest to, you know, like it's here on the eye. It makes it gives it that little extra pop. So I'm gonna go with that instead. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, so this right here, this right here, this right here together, and pressing direction is going to be going this way, and then this is gonna go this way. This is gonna come in, this is gonna come in, and this is gonna go out this way, and then this is gonna go out this way. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. And so what I'm doing here is just making sure that these match as much as I can. And then I'm going to pin. Okay. This is our last stitch on this block. So after this segment is sewn, the entire block is done. Okay. And here we go. Line them up. This is what it's looking like right now. I'm just going to press it out real quick, and I'm going to use the big iron to iron it. So this is it unpressed, okay? And I'll bring it back once it is pressed so I can show you what this is looking like. This is what it looks like right now. This is it. Our block is done. This is the first block. And this is the second one right here. So this is what it looks like. Okay. And I think it turned out pretty good. Right here. Now remember, we are, for this block number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way to 6, we are going to make 2 of them each. 2. So for all this block that we've been making, we need 2 of them. So if you're cutting your pieces, you're going to be cutting, for example, if you're cutting, like, this requires, I think it says, I don't know, like 16 squares. So if you require 16 for each one, you're going to cut obviously 32, right? And so what I did was I just went on ahead and cut for both blocks at the same time. So I made them both together, and that way I can get it done and over with at the same time. So now I have both of them completed, and I can move on to the next one. So this is our block for this week. Again, this is block number 5, and this is the Northern Star block right here. So I think it turned out rather okay, right? And I want you to just be the judge and see the colors. Now, I said I was mimicking the color from the book. I tried as much as possible to stick with the color scheme, but I also made it interesting using my own colors, which is majority of my colors are tulip pink, and this green, not green, this is like an aqua color. It's a Moda Bella Solid, which kind of matches perfect with this little speck of turquoise in here. I kind of just have all this in my stash. I have not purchased anything new since we started this so long. This is everything in my stash, and you can totally make this work using your stash as well, because I'm not making it scrappy, but at the same time I feel like I am making it scrappy because I'm just kind of pulling from everywhere all of my pieces that I already have, and it's kind of working out pretty good. I have a layer cake of the Moon Garden, so I just pulled it out within the layer cake and fuzzy cut what I needed to fit this this block. And you can see right here the color on the bird, right here on the parrot rather, it kind of matches, and this color right here kind of goes with this color right here kind of goes with this right here, and all the other pink and purple and red right here, they pull together and they make it a whole. So this is for all the block that we've been doing so far. This the centerpiece have been my inspiration, in making all these blocks. So if this works for you, so that way you don't have to think about, well, you know, I can match my color. So if you got that one color and you kind of pull from it, it will always work out because it will always play together. And then this dark blue right here is kind of what I've been using from day one, from all the blocks. So when it calls for dark blue, I use these, and I don't want to use anything with flowers because it will compete with this color right here, because this already has stuff going on. So if I use something with flowers here, it will make it look too busy. You see what I'm saying? So it will look too busy, and so that's why I have been going with solid color within the block so far. And maybe before block number 6, I will put all my blocks so far. I'll put it on the wall, and I will show you what they look like so far, and how the colors are working together from block number 1 all the way to the block number 5, which is right here. Well, with that being said, and I have made my blocks, now it's time to make your blocks. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe down below, and I will see you on my next video. Thank you so much.